I showed you last week how the ABC, the national broadcaster you pay for, had spent so long demonising Donald Trump and hoping he would fail that they not only fed incorrect information to their audiences, but they fooled themselves. They actually thought that the Democrats and Kamala Harris were going to win. They've just got no idea, have they? Anyway, if you knew nothing about the ABC and the general inability of the political left to learn from its mistakes, if you didn't know how this stuff worked, you'd probably think that now, after the Trump victory, they would be changing their ways, reporting the facts and showing some sort of understanding of why Americans returned Trump to the White House in emphatic style. But no. Since the moment Trump won, the ABC has been throwing the toys out of the cot, telling us how terrible everything is going to be.
All of the bitterness of having had an election stolen from him, in his view, he's now back in power. He thought, the elites thought he was down and out, he's back in there now. So everything he's wanted to do, this is the last chance to learn now. So I think we're in for a trade war with China. Ukraine, tonight, Ukraine will be devastated by this result. I think it's devastating news, as it is for Ukraine, for the Palestinians as well, and the Lebanese.
Yeah, I showed that to you last week. That was on election night, and it seems there's no cure to Trump derangement syndrome. It's fever pitch when Trump runs, it's fever pitch when he wins, when he loses, and when he wins again, it just goes into another phase. And the interesting thing about this new phase is it's the same as the old phase, and that is that under Trump, everything is always going to get worse. The ABC has given us Trump as a trigger for far-right and misogynistic abuse. And they've framed President Trump 2.0 as a threat to your superannuation now. And according to the ABC, Trump's trade policies apparently could turn out to be dangerous. And there's Trump as the threat to NATO. That's old and disproven, but at the ABC, there it is again. And of course, there's Trump as a looming threat to Ukraine.
A conflict the incoming US President Donald Trump has vowed to end in a day.
I will have that war settled in one day, 24 hours.
The Biden administration is concerned that would mean cutting off aid to Ukraine and weakening any negotiating position.
On Monday night's Q&A, yeah, it's still going. They brought in who else but their favourite former Liberal Prime Minister to ruminate on Trump. And by the way, given his favoured status at the ABC, you'd think they'd spell Malcolm Turnbull's name correctly.
People voted for Trump for a bunch of reasons. The big factors here were first the economy, inflation.
Still, at least Turnbull ran the company line on climate change.
Trump is a dead set climate denialist, and his day one priority is drill baby drill. He has rubbished renewable energy. Of course, this is a bit hard to reconcile with his new bromance with Elon Musk, the Tesla pioneer.
That would be Malcolm Turnbull, the investor in renewable energy. And since then, of course, the ABC Trump threat barrage has just continued. There's Trump, the threat to Australian business.
Well, Australian businesses are bracing for uncertainty as the clock starts ticking down to Donald Trump's return to the White House.
And there's the renewable energy push and Trump as a threat to all the subsidies in the so-called Inflation Reduction Fund.
The bigger worry with the Trump election is particularly the risk of him unwinding the Inflation Reduction Act, which is a major source of stimulus for investment in new energy technologies, particularly batteries and electric vehicles.
This is, of course, what Trump was elected to do, by the way. But still, the ABC portrays Trump as a threat to climate targets.
Under the Biden administration, there has been a focus on renewables, but Trump is all about, and he uses this term, drill, baby, drill. What would a Trump administration mean for the renewables market?
Well, it might be bad news for both renewables and for our security.
And it goes on. There's the Trump tariff threat to our farmers.
As Donald Trump prepares to move back into the White House, global political and economic uncertainty is taking a hold, and Australia is not immune.
And the ABC tells us about fears now that Trump could torpedo AUKUS.
But some experts say a second Trump presidency could have major ramifications for the AUKUS deal to provide Australia with nuclear-propelled submarines.
Good Lord, it's exhausting, isn't it? At the moment, we've got a doddering ideologue who's barely cognizant in the White House. But the prospect of a new president, one we've seen before, mind you, one who's actually president for 4 years previously, and one who's won a strong mandate on a range of clear policies, that apparently is the problem. That's what's going to make everything worse. The ABC are an embarrassment. They're wasting our tax dollars. They're more like a university politics club than a national broadcaster.